Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Back so soon, I hear you ask. Here today to get this bloody Supercharger project started. We've had enough messing about now with Porsches and distributors and other things and this, that and the other and ULEZ. Let's get this Supercharger project started. So I've got an unboxing special. Actually, it's an unbooting special. Everything's laid out. We're going to go over what I've got. I've gathered things far and wide from all corners of the earth. So I'm going to talk you through it. Any advice, comments and assistance is more than welcome. I've not figured the whole thing out yet, but between me and you, we can sort this out and get this bloody thing fitted. Let's get it started. Come on. Alright guys, so here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our way around clockwise. We're going to pretend we're a bit of air flowing through the carburetor inlet into the supercharger and manifold into the engine, and then some of the other bits as well as we go. Before we start though, there's a fair few bits that I'll talk about here that have come from Stuart at VMaxCart, part of the MGB kit. Right, so the first thing then we're going to hit as we flow through this is the carburetor. So the MG has twin SUs, 1.5 inch carburetors at the moment. The fully built superchargers you get from VMaxCart use a Weber carb, and some of the kit is supplied with the Weber carb connections as well. I've decided to go the way that they've gone on the Moss superchargers and use a SU carb, primarily because I'm familiar with SU carb from having twin SUs for the past 20 odd years with the MG. So what I've got here is a HIF 44 1 3/4 inch. It's from a Mini. It's obviously a used unit. It hasn't been refurbished yet. What I'm planning on doing is fitting it, making sure it all works generally, and then I'll go and get it refurbished in terms of all seals and the like. So a single SU carb HIF 44 is used, as I said, on the Moss kit. So that's a good indicator that it'll be okay. I've got the needle that's come from Stuart, so I need to fit the needle that's appropriate for a supercharger. So there's obviously some experience there. So based on the SU catalogue, the maximum you can get out of this carburetor, granted that's on a 1500 engine, is 100 horsepower or so. And on the twin SU, on the MGB with the 1800 engine, goes to about 100, 115, 120 at max. So, but it also states in the SU catalogue that with a forced induction, with a supercharger, you can get 80% more power than stated on the diagram. So I'm content to go with a 1 3/4 SU at least as a starting point, and we may have to change that later. But right now, I'm content with the 1 3/4. I've also got the bracket for mounting that and the spacers and the gaskets, and obviously I need that to mount the accelerator cable, so that'll be good. So inlet. So I've got to mount the carb. So what Stuart at VMaxCart does is he mounts this plate onto the back here, and then welds that on, and you mount the Weber onto the back of that. Okay, well, I'm not doing a Weber, so I'm not using that. So I've bought some aluminium plate, the same thickness. I think that's 8mm. So I'm gonna have to make my own, which shouldn't be too difficult out of aluminium. So the plan with this initially was to mount this directly on the back and just put the SU on the back. The problem with that is the height of this under the bonnet and the clearance underneath. I'll show you that in a moment. The clearance underneath means you can't fit an SU there because it'll foul the bonnet. So that brings me to this piece here. So now I've got a mounting plate which I'll be putting on the back of that. Another portion of that which is going to be going on here, and then a portion of this, not necessarily 90 degrees. I may cut it so it's at an angle and comes out at an angle off the back, or I may go 90 degrees. But I need to put this on the car along with the inlet manifold, along with the manifold, to find out and decide exactly what I'm going to do with that. So that's the inlet, and then that's all going to be brazed with these aluminium weld rods that you've all seen on YouTube, which is brazing pretty much. So that should be okay. So we'll get that done. Next thing as we go round is heat shield and heat dissipation. So one thing I'm mindful of with the supercharger is increased heat. So, and we've spoken in the past about wrapping an exhaust, and I might be doing that. So I bought some wrap. So I may be going down the wrapping the exhaust route. Maybe. Don't know. Haven't fully decided yet. And I've also bought just some heat shield material as well. So when we get into it, I can start fitting this over the top of the exhaust to try and minimise the heat going up and into the supercharger. Right, so let's talk about the supercharger. So you can see I've got it in bits already, and it's had some modifications done already. So this is a Eaton M45 roots blower supercharger. Okay, it's from a Mercedes C180 C200, I think. So I bought this unit obviously as a complete unit from eBay about 6 to 9 months ago, and it cost me £45, which is really cheap. I'll just show you. So these are the bits I've chopped off. That's me practicing my cutting. So this bit goes here, this bit goes here, and then this bit. So this is how it, well, obviously to a point, how it arrived all assembled. Okay. One of the reasons it was cheap, apart from being second hand, was this mounting bracket here was broken. That's how it was when I bought it. But I knew when I bought it that I didn't need that, so I knew I was going to cut that off. So that the fact it was cheap because that was broken was beneficial to me. So that's really good. So then before I cut the end off, what I had done, one of my friends at work did it, who's got a bit of experience in welding aluminium, is he welded on these lugs for me here and here. There's none at the bottom. They're just at the top here and here, welded lugs. Okay. So why did I get that done? So the reason I had that done was because, let's just go back to this. So because I'm going to be putting a mounting plate on for an SU carb, what I didn't want to do at this stage was just weld on a plate for an SU carb and then be stuck with it. And all the heat that goes into the process, if I had to change it out to a Weber later, having to cut it all off. So what I've decided to do is go down the road of mounting this plate to here by bolting it on, and also JB welding it on. So I'm JB weld it on, and there is a guy, and I'll see if I can find the link, who's done supercharger modifications and just JB welds on a plate. So there's a guy who's done that already. So I'm quite comfortable with doing that, and I wanted to put a couple of bolts in the top just to give it that extra mechanical strength as you hang the weight off it, and this thing is trying to bend that way. So I think that'll work okay. And then if for some reason the SU carb doesn't work, I can unbolt that, clean it up, take it off, and I've not dumped loads of heat in here, and I'm not going to dump loads of heat in again. So I think that is the reason I've done that. If it works out, only time will tell. If anyone's got experience of JB welding this type of thing, then give me a shout. Love to hear about that. Okay, take those bits away. And then the blower itself. So it's a used unit. It's got some signs. It's got signs of wear on here. A few marks, but nothing really significant. I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. These leading edges seem fine, and it turns reasonably well. So we'll be cleaning that up, putting that back in, and I've got the shiny pulley to go on as well. So it's slightly smaller than the original unit, and it brings it forward as well, so you can get the belt past the front of the engine. So you need to do both. When I first put this on and trial fitted it, I had a panic attack that the belt wouldn't fit, but with this pulley, it does fit. Then we've got the inlet manifold, and this is like a piece of artwork. This is so absolutely fantastic. You see VMAX Scott, and the date 0223 there when it was cast. So it's cast aluminium. It's really nice, really well made. So if you and I'll post the link. Right, so we've got the water channel to keep the inlet manifold cool, and then this plate goes on top with the sealant to go round, and then you plumb in your pipes there, and you put a separate radiator you can get to keep your charged inlet cooler. At this stage, whilst I will seal all this and prep for it, I'm not going to be fitting the radiator initially until I can figure out if I need to, because I'm not planning on running at a really high boost. So will the temperature get too high? I don't know at this stage, so we'll figure that bit out later. I'm just a bit wary of this having water in it and having just this bit here sealing the water, because if you get a leak, then it'll leak straight into the engine. So I'm just a bit wary of that at this stage. So we're going to start without it, and we might go back to that later. Okay. Then we've got the tensioner pulley and the belt. Okay. This goes on here like that. Okay, that will go on there, and then that goes on there. So when you then run in your belt, then you use that to tension the belt. So that comes in the kit that Stuart supplies, so that's good. Then we've got 2 paying gaskets and a decompression plate. So the decompression plate, which looks to be about a mil and a half thick, is obviously laser cut, so that's nicely cut. That's to lower the compression of the engine, because my engine's not stock engine. It's got a high compression. It's got higher compression now, about, I don't know what it is, 10 and a half, 10.4. So I need to lower that back down to fit the supercharger kit, so we don't get over compression in there. So the head's got to come off, put the 2 gaskets in, put that in between, and then bolt it all back together. And then we've got the just a cheap boost gauge I bought initially. Not sure it's visible, so it lights up, so it's not going to be fitting in with the car really. So we'll wire that up initially, and then I'll probably get one to match my air fuel ratio gauge, but a little bit more pricey. So we'll start with this one and move across to that later. So that comes from Amazon, and then these bits come from Stuart to enable you to obviously screw into here to measure your boost. I need to drill and tap that in there. Then I've just got some other fixtures and fittings. So I'm just going to move these out of the way. Just going to show you now. It's mounted on here. So this is going to go on here like that. So that mounts on there quite nicely. I've got these countersunk head. I've got these countersunk head bolts that go through here. Okay, that's going to go in there. Bolt it all together. Now I can't screw that in yet, because in someone's wisdom, are M7, and M7s are really rare. So what I've got is M8s. So I've got to drill and tap that out to M8. Although I've only got 3 of those, so we need to get another one. That's going to be going on there, and that goes onto the side of the engine. And then just go back to the start when I showed you my carburetor. If I mounted that directly to there with the plate to gap it and attach it, then this is just too high for the bonnet. So what I'm going to do is swing it round and lower it down. So it might be like that, a bit lower down like that, or it might be over here at 90. So I've not fully decided yet. What I need to do is put this on the car, mount that on the car, and then play around with that and mock something up, and then make the inlet out of this. So the only other key and critical component, you just see down here, is the pulley on the crank. So that's where the belt's going to go. I've already fitted that Actually, to fit that, I had to move the steering rack forward ever so slightly, so it's a bit of a bugger's muddle, but it's in there now. Forgetting things, the only other thing is the new distributor I fitted, the 123 Tune Plus, and I needed that to control the advance when we're under boost. So there's a video I posted last couple of days on that, so I'll add a link and you can have a look at that in detail. I keep forgetting things, so if you think I've forgotten anything else, drop some comments in, they'll be really helpful. So that's pretty much it for this video, just a short one, bit of an intro to the kit. You can buy the kits from Moss, and I'll flash one up now. I'm not entirely sure how much it is, £4,000, something like that. But I think actually doing it in myself with a portion of a DIY kit from VMAX Scott makes me learn more about how it all works. So I'm looking forward to it. So the running order is get the head off, fit the decompression plate, put that in. Then we're going to mount the inlet manifold and the charger. Then once we've done that, we're going to figure out where to put the carburetor in terms of the angle and the height. Make the inlet manifold, bolt the whole thing together, turn the key, and hope I don't blow up the engine. That's the plan. Simple? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. There's only one way to find out. So all of that is going to be a mini-series, isn't it? So there'll be a few videos of each of those steps. Particularly looking forward to the turn the key first start video. Not sure when we'll get to that, probably a few months' time. And then after we've got it running, we'll be taking it to a rolling road, probably book it in with Peter Burgess and get it tuned in properly. And then figure out if going down the SU route was the right option. But we're a long way from that. Let's take it one step at a time and see where we get to. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, like, share and subscribe. Particularly hit that subscribe button if you want to see more progress on the Supercharger build. I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait to get stuck in, start bolting things together and making manifolds. But that's it, guys. Thank you.